Hello, it is now midnight. I'm Roy Michaels, and you are listening to The Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM WMEB, Orono, Maine.
You are in your house. As far as you know, things here are going exactly as they should. Without explicit purpose, you amble forward through some familiar surroundings and go about leisure time as you normally would. Sitting upon your couch to spend some time with your dog. You wait. Still no dog. You begin to worry, and your nervous glance uncovers a peculiar detail. Somehow, the furniture isn't arranged at all how you last left it. Panic. Is this some sort of prank? Your nervous glance rapidly escalates to a feverish concern for not only your own well-being, but for the integrity of your surroundings. As you register your environment, fear subsides and confusion sets in. Somehow, the familiarity is unchanged, and while this doesn't make the situation any less disorienting, the gears in your mind turn enough for you to conclude that you've been here before. Not just once, but many times. It dawns on you. You are home. Startled awake by the overwhelming realization, you instantly examine your surroundings once more, and are relieved to find yourself in your own bed, exactly where you last left it. It's been more than 10 years since last moving from your childhood home, and yet the architecture is stained so thoroughly upon your subconscious that you still find yourself lost in the uncanny, labyrinthine familiarity of past abode. And that brings us to dreams. How do they influence us? What can we do to influence them? Tonight, we shall explore these questions and more through careful examination of our mind's darkest, most mysterious creations.
Keith, that was an excellent monologue. That was Keith,
Thank you.
our Dreamweaver for tonight. Everyone, let's give Keith a hand. Maybe you tuned in for the first time. The Mystery Hour is the first, only, and number one paranormal late night talk show on the station. And each week we're here Fridays at midnight, and we venture into the darkest corners of the universe, uncovering its most sacred mysteries. Tonight our topic is dreams, and I've assembled a panel of experts to assist us in our journey. We have Joseph, paranormal journalist.
How's it going?
John McCullough, intramural sports referee.
Hey there.
Lakota, dream shepherd.
Hi there.
And Connor, Ray Romano impersonator.
Hi, I'm Ray.
So, what are dreams? Do you guys dream? Do you all have dreams?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Some people argue that dreams are just random information. It's our brain just organizing the vast amount of stimulus that we encounter during our waking lives. Do any of you have a particular theory on dreaming? Yes, Joseph.
No, I don't want to just blast into it here, but I believe that some dreams could be subconscious from other universes, yourself from other universes just leaking into one another and connected through sleep. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Joseph, you believe that you are, while sleeping or while dreaming, looking into a glimpse of another reality.
I believe that's very possible.
So it's like opening a portal, and you're just viewing the portal, and then when you wake up, the portal's closed, and you go about your normal life?
Yes.
Interesting. I like that.
Thank
But
you.
why?
Why do we dream?
Yes.
I think we dream to learn more about ourselves and our daily lives, instead of just categorizing things and, our subconscious making sense throughout the day. I think it's us just making sense of who we are as people.
Oh, very thoughtful response. And that's exactly what I would expect from our dream shepherd.
Excuse me, I think he might actually be a dream Sherpa.
Sherpa.
I am, actually, a Sherpa.
Okay. So instead of just guiding us through a prairie of dreams like sheep, you are guiding us up a tumultuous mountain of dream.
That is
symbolic.
correct.
Now, what was the last dream everyone had?
Ooh. Who wants to start off?
I can start off with one if you guys like.
Yeah, of course.
I had a dream that I was in my barn from back home, and King Kong was trying to break into the barn, and he smashed his head through the barn, and he said to me in a woman's voice, he said, "I'm glad this barn is so hard to break down because this is the first building I haven't been able to break down, and it gives me purpose." And then I woke up.
That's amazing. Oh, I guess it's not extremely relevant, but was it like the 1950s King Kong, or was it the King Kong with Jack Black?
Definitely the Jack Black one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
So
a-
he was very CG and very polished.
It wasn't like animatronic or stop motion King Kong.
I don't think so, no.
And you said King Kong had the voice of a woman?
Yes, he or she did.
Do you recognize the voice of the woman?
It may have been the woman from the movie King Kong.
Oh, that makes sense. Like they're melded together.
Yeah.
Have you recently watched the movie King Kong?
I don't think so.
Even more interesting.
Have you recently played the PS2 video game King Kong?
About 3 years ago.
Roy?
I don't want to get too off topic, but while we're talking about video games and film, do you think in the future that streaming services will be available to us in our dreams? For example, while we sleep, we can watch our favorite shows and advertisements to, pay for the cost of the streaming service. Yes, Lakota, Dream Sherpa.
I've heard of scientists trying to develop a way for us to actually watch our dreams while we're in the waking life. So this is a little bit different from what you're saying, kind of like the antithesis of it, but we'll be able to someday hopefully watch our dreams in our waking life and what we went through. Hopefully it wouldn't be too terrifying and like have some weird Freudian stuff going on, but...
So, if that technology existed, could we reverse engineer it? Just get like an adapter in there and then do it that way?
Yeah, that seems like it would make sense. I think that's probably what's going to happen in the future.
I'm excited.
I wonder if that will translate into cinema. If we can just take our dreams and chop them up and put them in the theater. Do you think there would be a market for that, or do you think if the technology existed, everybody would be an auteur of their own dreams and just posting everywhere, YouTube? Yes, John?
To that point, I don't know if it would work because dreams are far too random and unexpected, and I don't know if people would want to go to the movie theater to see such a random experience. People like to have trailers, and they like to know what they're getting themselves into. Whereas if it were a dream, they would just, I don't know.
So we might need some sort of pre-screening process.
Yeah, exactly.
So like a website where we throw all of them up, and then maybe like the top 15 from this month get thrown into the theaters, and then we find out where it goes from there.
Yeah. Connor?
Yeah, I think you'd certainly have like dream celebs, like a select few people who have just the perfect dreams for cinema.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense.
There could be a problem too, because if you dream about a certain celebrity, do you have to pay royalties to them, or how would that work?
That would be a problem. In my dreams, I'm frequently, if I were to have this technology, I'm frequently visited by John F. Kennedy, and I'm concerned that if I were to share my dreams, I could be sued for royalties by his family, his enterprise.
That is interesting.
So I guess copyright of dream media, that's pretty interesting as well. What if you just happen to think about a song? Are they going to crack down? Are they going to remove these dream videos that infringe on others' rights?
Will they remove your dreams?
Exactly.
How far will we let them go?
That's the final question.
I'm just gonna say no one's ever gonna stop me from dreaming.
Hey, this next question is for Lakota.
Okay.
Have you ever thought that your name, Lakota,
Mm-hmm.
combined with my name, Roy,
Mm-hmm.
is Lakota Roy, like corduroy, the genre of pants?
No, I can't say I have, Roy.
Do pants have a genre?
Do you believe in dream deja vu? That dreams somehow prepare you for the future?
I don't personally.
You know?
I think
Oh, go
because whenever it happens to me, I'm never exactly warned of it. like something will happen, and then I'll just be like, it just happened. I'm never warned of anything. I wouldn't say it like prepares me for anything. It just makes me think about how like I think I've lived this once before.
Yes, Connor?
I disagree. I think dreams are actually the psyche's way of creating a situation that you might run into, and then you work through it, hopefully to be prepared for it. It's just that it doesn't always do a very good job of it.
Yeah, I'd like to follow up on Connor. I do not believe that that is the purpose of dreams, but I believe that dreams certainly do acclimate us to waking life. Yes, Lakota?
Have all of us had a premonition-style dream before, where you wake up the next day and you start doing something, going through your routine, and it's not just the routine that seems deja vu-esque. It's just every single thing about the room. Every aspect of it, the smell of the room. Just you feel like you had that dream last night, and then it clicks, and you remember.
I don't have it the next day, but every once in a while I'll dream about something, and it'll be something, I don't know, just like a menial task, and then like a month later, I'll find myself doing that thing, and then I'll remember that I had that dream.
So my question is, do you think that the dream influenced you to do that in the future without you realizing, just like your dream like subconsciously made you go ahead and do that thing in the future?
Oh, that's a good
Planted
question.
the seed.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
It really does flip everything around like that.
Is there free will or only dreams?
Maybe it's only dreams that have free will.
So would you imply that the dreams create our destiny?
We are just a vessel for our dreams.
Interesting.
Have any of you had reoccurring dreams in your lives?
Yeah, I would say that I definitely have. Yeah, for sure.
Would you care to share any reoccurring dreams with us?
Yeah, sure. When I was younger, in like elementary school, like second or third grade, I had this dream where I walked down to my living room and I looked out the living room window, and outside up on this tree I saw a man just sitting out on a branch wearing like really tattered clothes, and he seemed kind of old but not too bad, middle-aged. And I would have that dream like once or twice a year. And in 7th grade we moved, and I didn't have that dream anymore, and it was really strange until just recently in the last couple of years I've been having that dream again when I moved to Farmington. And most recently when I had this dream, I woke up, and after each time I had this dream I would go outside and I would look and see if that man was there, and he never was, until recently when I went outside and I looked out and I saw the man out on the tree, and I was really spooked, and I turned around to my friends and I said, "You guys see that out there, that guy out there?" And they didn't see it, and when I looked back he was gone.
John, I don't know if you know this, but what you are describing is a first-degree dream ghoul.
What is that?
Well, Connor, he's been our ghoul expert on shows before. Do you have any information here, Connor?
Well, there's not a lot of info, unfortunately, about the first degree or the second degree dream ghoul, but we do know that they latch on to your head and insert their feelers into your mind at some point in your life, and then they're permanently kind of part of your subconscious.
Would you like to follow up on that point with your best Ray Romano impression?
Deborah, what are you doing in the kitchen so early? I was trying to golf.
Excellent.
Really good.
That was one of my favorite episodes.
Uncanny.
Now back to, let's step away from Ray Romano for a moment and get back to reoccurring dreams. What do you think the significance of a reoccurring dream is?
Keith? I would argue that, kind of going with what Connor was saying and against what John was saying in some light, that the recurring dream could be attempting to prepare us for something that our subconscious believes is truly important. So maybe a certain situation, say a cruising down the highway in an unmanned vehicle in the back seat. Maybe it's just a real enough concern for our subconscious to really want us to be able to get into that front seat and put the brakes on. So it lets us try maybe 10, 15 times a month just to get it right that time.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing, my opinion on reoccurring dreams, since they appear over and over again, the symbolism within them seems much more significant, much more important, and much more urgent for us to decode. For example, I have a recurring dream where I attend a semester of class, and I get to the end and I'm very excited, and then I find out that the entire semester there was one class that I never went to. I never stepped foot in the door, and it just tanked my GPA, and I have no idea what that means. Why do I have that dream so often?
I think you're kind of preparing yourself for, one of the things about dreams, I think, especially with recurring dreams, is it has to do a lot with almost this sort of inadequacy. Like Keith was saying with the car, like you need to get behind that driver's seat, you need to take the initiative. It's kind of the same thing. You're just preparing yourself with this perceived inadequacy that the end goal of that dream is you tank school. And so you just have that worry building up, and I would think, in my interpretation of that at least, is that you're worried getting through school is going to be like this circumstance is going to come up and wreck the whole thing without your control of it.
Thank you for being my Sherpa
You're welcome.
in my dreams.
That's what I do.
On my dreams, not in my dreams.
Sometimes I'm there.
I have dreamt of you, yes. That's correct.
Oh, I have a question for Lakota. Are you able to infiltrate other people's dreams and sort of guide them through them?
Yes, that's when I dream at night. I actually I peer into other people's heads, and I go through their dreams and experience their dreams alongside them. Sometimes out of focus. You don't always see me there, but I most likely am.
Now, are you able to have your own dreams, or can you only dream through other people?
I do both simultaneously.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Is there a second level of Dream Sherpa that Sherpas your dreams?
We don't talk about that.
Oh. All right.
But yeah, I can't say anymore. I'm sorry.
Connor?
Can anyone learn to do this, or is this just something that a special few can do?
You can learn. It does take a lot of technique. If there's a special process that you have to go through. You have to meet with, one of the legendary Dream Sherpas, and they will guide you through the process and, lead you up the mountain, so to speak.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go into other people's dreams? What made you want to do that?
I wanted to help people through it. It's just
So it's voluntary. Like they ask you, you don't just go into their dreams against their will.
Yeah, like you can tell with people's like alpha waves and everything, just giving off those negative energies, and when you feel that in the dream sphere, you have to go out there. They need you.
Yes, Connor?
Have you ever gone into someone's nightmare and gotten like too scared to help them?
There have been cases. I don't really like to talk about it. There's some dark moments looming in people's heads.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
That brings up another question. Can someone else's dreams harm you?
Only if I allow them to. Sometimes when you're in that moment and it can get overwhelming, the dream just seems so real that if you let your mind slip for even a second and you think that you're actually in there, some harm could come to you.
Keith?
Do you have a way to exit the dream, or are you there for the full ride?
Oh, it's usually voluntary. I can leave when I need to, when I know that they're able to, make it out okay and everything's going to be okay with them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it is now 1/4 past the hour. You are listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM at WMB or No Main. We're going to go to a short break. We'll be back soon.
How good is your memory? I invite you to listen to the Camel Walk Production radio show.
Nice.
We played the
Did you want us to keep
best
talking
music of
after that, or was it just
I don't know.
saying for us
I
to
don't
wrap it
know
up?
what to say.
This is Bobby Hammond,
What's next?
Jamming DJ.
Is it decoding?
WMB 91.
So we're just gonna have to share more dreams and decode it.
HD1
Oh man.
That was good though. That was fun.
You're a little.
I'm a little too loud.
Yeah, you're a little bit. It's okay.
How's it here?
I think that's good. Do it again.
Is it good here?
Yeah.
Just let him know during the show.
Okay, yeah. This is too loud.
Yeah. I just have one of those voices that's really annoying is all.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, me too.
I'll try to go something lighter like, yeah, you know.
I can't believe you laid the impression on me. Couldn't do it.
It was pretty good though, on the spot, like.
Yeah, I had no idea where I was going with that.
That was good.
It was good.
Like, that was like think fast right there. Is he on the phone right now? He's taking personal calls?
We got in
She's
trouble.
probably like, their mics are still on. We can still hear them.
We know.
She's now like, he's even acknowledging it.
Exactly.
Dream within a dream.
I hate that I had to stop coughing abruptly when the show started.
Yeah, I
had,
know.
like the itch all in there.
I was nervous in the beginning, so like it made my like, but I feel good now.
Should have brought those halls.
Wasn't he supposed to like leave our mics on so we could do
Oh,
this
are
the
we in
whole time?
trouble?
It was a great first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No.
Yeah, so we're gonna come back and do some dream decoding. So just share dreams and let's try to like, make some meaning from them. And when I mentioned the teeth thing, someone should chime in and say that it's the manifestation of
Sexual perversion or something like
a deep fear of sexual inadequacy.
Inadequacy.
Yeah.
Alright, who wants to do it? Let's decide now so we don't like talk over
You
each
got like
other.
a minute, so I'll do the way you guys know.
So what's the bit exactly?
Then we'll figure it out.
that. He's gonna talk.
I'm gonna say it's time for the mystery from History with Evan Lane at some point, and then we're just kind of like Evan. Evan Lane from the cab. He's not here.
I like it.
I'm gonna talk about how we got lost.
Oh yeah. I'll chime in and be like, that reminds me.
Oh, that was
Getting hydrated.
Hello and welcome back. You are listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM WMEB, Orono, Maine. I'm Roy Michaels, and tonight we are exploring the oasis in which we retreat from the banality and existential horror of everyday waking life, dreams. Before the break, we shared different types of dreams, but now we're going to dig deeper into their symbolic meaning to decode the messages that they have for us, to prepare us for our everyday waking life.
Does anyone have any specific dreams that they have in mind that they would like decoded?
I think I've got one.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to have a recurring dream that I would slide down the slide at the McDonald's play place, and then it would be closed at one end, and I'd try to crawl back up, and it would be closed at the top, and I'd be trapped.
So how would you decode that yourself? What did you get out of that?
I think I was just a little bit claustrophobic.
Mm.
Do you think it has something else to do with like the bright fluorescent colors of the tube, so the lights shine through them? It always kind of stressed me out as a kid.
And it could be they kind of have like an otherworldly vibe to them.
Definitely. I have a pretty common dream where I can fly, and then I realize I'm flying, and that it's a dream, and I can do it, and then I lose the ability to fly. So every time I try to fly, I fly less and less each time. less far.
It seems
each
like
time.
you're maybe overthinking flying in your dreams. The fact that you are so concerned with flying is what prevents you from flying.
Do you think that's also what is preventing me from flying in real life
That could be.
How often do you think about it?
all the time?
Just stop for a moment. The ceiling will stop you.
Oh my. I'm definitely getting lighter. I'm not flying yet because I'm still kind of thinking about it.
He's not going anywhere.
You don't know anything, Keith.
Yeah, he's grounded.
But one day, who knows?
You're my dad.
Nope.
Anyone else have any?
Yeah, I have this dream where I'm just on a run in the woods, and as I'm going, it's as if I'm running through the seasons. So like it starts like a nice chill, like it's in the fall, and then it gets even colder in the winter. And it's even colder in the winter, and then it slowly starts to get warmer, and then during the summer it gets really hot, and it just repeats that process. Heck on.
Yeah, do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with you and her relationship, and maybe it represents like you like taking her ideas and making them your own.
Or maybe it's just like you're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no. Oh, are you going to say something, Lakota?
Yeah, perhaps it has to do with internal change and just getting ready for the different seasons of life, so to speak. Just continuing through life and how everything is changing constantly, and like how you become a different person. Rebirth.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think I agree mostly with Connor's answer,
Yeah.
but that's definitely a great answer.
Yeah. I like Connor's answer too a lot.
Thank you.
Oh.
Keith?
All right, I've got a bit of a strange one here. It's recent even, and it's lasted maybe 5 or 6 years. I'll enter a donut shop. It's a night just like any other. I'm going home maybe 4 or 5 a.m. and the donut shops are opening. So I'll go to the donut shop, and the options are endless. I just won't know what I'm going to get. So I'll decide maybe I want 2 donuts. What kind of donuts am I going to get? And that's the dream. That's the entire thing. I don't know what donuts I'm going to get. Lakota?
Do you often feel overwhelmed in your everyday with like the amount of options that you have just in your day-to-day activities?
Especially when there's options, yes.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it has to do
Probably
with.
a reflection of that.
Yeah.
Joseph?
I'm not sure if sometimes I don't dream or if I have a reoccurring dream about being blind. And I don't know if we could decode that at all.
Just check the dream journal for that one.
How's your hearing in these dreams?
I don't know if I've ever heard anything in a dream.
Well, you're probably not blind, because when you're blind, your hearing's pretty acute.
Maybe you're blind and deaf.
Oh
What
my
if
God.
being
And
blind
also
in a
mute.
dream makes you so good at hearing that you actually hear what's going on in real life, which is nothing?
That's
Ooh.
very possible. Anything going on in the dream journal?
I think this might be a cookbook.
Oh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Can you grab me a recipe for chocolate chip while you're in there?
Just chocolate
Just
chips?
one chocolate
you
chip?
You want to look over it after the show?
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of books, always know what's inside of them. Our regular listeners might have noticed that Robbie and Evan aren't here on the program tonight. They were looking through a spell book, preparing material for a future episode, and they set out they read out loud this ancient incantation, and it bound them in this geometric crystal prism. It floats, it oscillates. All we can hear is their ethereal screams. It's a prism prison, but I think we need some sort of incantation to get them out of that. But it's midnight. It's mystery hour time. We have to talk about dreams. Yes, Keith?
I believe we're actually going to send them down to a prism expert I know down in Boston, Bobby Serrano. He is a fantastic individual. Like, he was the one who got John out of his prism when he lost the disc golf tournament. Like, last place gets prismed forever, and
That
then we
was-
had to bring him down.
That was a really nasty prism.
Yeah.
If you were 100 yards and just in the radius of that prism, all you could hear was just a very low hum.
We had to rent a U-Haul to bring him down there. He was that large. It was like a whole process.
Yeah. Thankfully, since they do float, they're very easy to move. You just push them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have nightmares about that prism.
Nightmares, you said.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what are those like?
I don't know. That reminds me, actually. I don't know if this is more of a nightmare than a reoccurring dream. It's a reoccurring nightmare, if you will. I often have a dream where I go to my bathroom, I'm over my sink, and I go to brush my teeth, and my teeth just start falling out. The canines, the molars, they're all in the sink, bloodied, just falling out of my gums. Do you know if that means anything?
Yeah, actually, yeah, when you lose teeth in dreams, very common. It really has to do with a deep-rooted, sense of sexual inadequacies that have, followed you your whole life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, thanks for your input.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's why we had you on.
Yeah.
We have an expert.
Mr. Dream Sherpa.
That's
Thanks,
me.
man. Thanks.
Yeah, now you can face that problem head on.
Yeah, does anyone else have a dream to give to Dream Sherpa guy?
I mean, I have a dream that I would like you guys to try to interpret. This one was from a while back when I was living in Texas, and what happened was I came into consciousness in this dream, and I felt like I was being hunted, and I felt like I didn't belong. And I had some friends there, people that I'd never seen before, right? And no one looked familiar, but I knew that I knew them, and we were all outcasts. And finally, like the lore of the dream started to catch up with me, and I realized it was like a genocidal future dystopia, basically, just run by fascists, and they were finding and killing people who had superpowers, and I was one of those individuals in this dream. And all of my friends, we were in this building huddled together, and we were getting shot at and stuff the whole time. And my superpower, just in case you're wondering, was the ability to travel through universes, like you were saying earlier, Joseph, to go to different realities using the dreamscape. And so in the last moment, this girl ran up and gave me a hug as she was crying and said, "You have to escape to a universe that they can't find you." And so I entered the dreamscape and immediately woke up, and I was in my bed. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, Texas can be pretty unaccepting of a lot of different kinds of people. So maybe you just felt like you didn't belong there. They didn't want you there, and you just wanted to escape.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. It was an interesting time. Yeah, Mike?
So when you left this universe,
Mhm.
you woke up. Is that
Yeah, when I left the universe that was in the dream, I woke up in this. And yeah.
Was this before or after you became a practicing Sherpa?
This was I want to say 2 months afterwards.
Wow.
Yep.
wow? Yeah,
Early Advent.
Yeah.
very deep dreams. Very early in your career. Good talent.
Well, like Connor said, I think it is mostly about just a fear of like people trying to squash out your independence.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the dream was actually a reality, and the universe you entered is the waking life that you are in now.
So you think the dream was true?
Yeah.
You're giving me an existential crisis right now. But
What was the Edgar Allan Poe quote?
is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream?
Very deep.
I just want to add, I have a friend who lives in Texas, and he also has claimed that he feels that way.
Right.
I don't know if he's had a dream like that, but so I think it's pretty common, especially for people like our age,
Right.
moving there. And
I mean, we're from Maine, after all. We're on the opposite side of the great United States.
That is true. I mean, the population of the city I was living in at the time was larger than the entire state of Maine, so that must have had something to do with it, I would assume.
They were probably trying to cast you back to your home.
Trying to get rid of me.
Yeah, maybe they were deportation dream Sherpas who were infiltrating your dream,
Mhm.
planting the seed that you needed to get out of Texas. They didn't want you there, that you were too powerful for them, and they
Mm.
needed to come back to Maine.
Well, I'm glad I'm back.
Me too.
Now, this entire time, John McCullough has been, we forgot to mention it, but he has been dreaming live on air. and it looks like he's just waking up. John, what did you dream about?
Yeah, this one was really interesting, and it goes back to my childhood a bit, where I was younger, and I was just walking around my house. It goes around dusk, and I didn't see any of my family in there at all. And so I decided to walk outside. I was like, maybe they're playing basketball outside. Good family night out there. And so I walk outside, and I'm walking around, still didn't see anything. And out of nowhere, as I'm walking by our van, Baby Bop from that show Barney jumps off and slices me in half with a samurai sword. And then I woke up.
I don't mean to interrupt, but was it vertical or horizontal?
Yeah, it was vertical.
Ooh, okay,
She
important.
jumped down and just got me.
The most lethal way of being cut in half.
Yes,
I
definitely.
did see that while you were dreaming, there were a few twitches, murmurs. You did move your tongue around and some lip movement, like you were maybe drinking out of a bowl of some sort, drinking liquid out of a bowl. Did you eat at all in your dream?
No, I didn't.
Because your legs, your little legs were kind of twitching around, as if you were. Was that when you were startled by?
I would definitely say it was more that I was nervous during the dream about what was happening. I was a young kid and I just didn't know where anyone was.
Yeah.
I saw his legs like making like a running motion. What were you running from, John?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I think I was just really scared because I'd never been home before, home by myself.
I guess so.
What do
That
you
is
think?
scary.
What do you think this dream means?
Well, I never really liked the show Barney, so on a really simple level, it could just be like personifying how much I really didn't like it, and like, I don't know.
Did you have a traumatic childhood?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I've had my fair share of downs, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Good. Yes, Keith.
Do you suppose that Barney may be getting revenge for all the negative energy that you've been storing within your mind over all these years?
It is possible because I never really understood why there would be a purple dinosaur, and it really frustrated me because I used to love reading those history books about dinosaurs, and I used to saw the pages of them tearing apart stuff, and Barney just didn't exemplify any of that.
Not much of an evolutionary perk to be purple.
No, like what's the benefit?
Well, on Earth, that may be useless, but elsewhere, that could be a very valuable.
Very
asset.
true.
Yeah, I always suspected he was from like a purple planet of some kind.
Somewhere in the fuchsia.
Yeah.
So he's an alien dinosaur, is what you're saying?
Well, let's save aliens for
Let's
another
save that.
episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's
Okay.
save that for the alien episode.
Yeah.
And the dinosaur episode.
Yeah, we don't want to use up all of our content tonight.
Yeah, can't use all of our speculation.
So let's do one more dream decoding. This is a dream I've had quite often through my childhood, and I was terrified of hands were always getting me in my sleep. They'd just grab at me, pull me underneath the bed, and there was this guy. He kind of looked like Danny DeVito, but his hair was much longer and he was much more evil. And he would often try to get me and pull me under. And I remember just absolutely being terrified of this throughout my childhood, like every night before bed. And in one dream, he was fought off by my uncle, who fought him with a Sharpie marker. They had a Sharpie marker duel. It's absolutely absurd. And this was a reoccurring theme in dreams after that. If you had to stop him, to get him with the Sharpie. Yes, look at it. One final point before we go to break.
What level was that dream ghoul, would you say?
This was before I had Dream Ghoul technology, before
Oh,
I
yeah.
read about it on the internet.
Sounds like a level 2.
Level 2.
That's clearly a level 2.
It's at least level 1, and it's more than 1.5, almost certainly. So it's probably somewhere in the 2 to 3 range.
Is that in the Decighoul scale?
Yeah.
Pentagool.
Oh, is it
I think it's dodecaghoul, actually.
I don't think you
Hexagool.
can say pentagool anymore.
No, that's an archaic term.
It's kind of the Pluto of the cool world.
Yeah.
Cool world.
Hmm.
All right, well, it is 12:41. You're listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM WMUV, Orono, Maine. I'm Roy Michaels. And don't start dreaming just yet, because we're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of five.
A lot of dead
I'm
air
also an
today.
expert on drama. There's the good kind
I didn't
that
think you were
comes
gonna
from having a house full
do
of
the
kids, and there's silly drama like
sleeping
the drama
thing.
from
Yeah,
percolating
sorry about the
control.
vegan thing.
And then there's the
Oh
drama
no, it was
from
really
skits.
funny. I knew you were gonna get it, so I was just wondering if
came from?
Or equivalency.
Vegan wrote a story
Vegan
about
wrote
running through the season.
about running through the season. She wrote like a whole thing.
Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hello and welcome back. You're listening to the Mystery Hour with me, Roy Michaels, and some other guys. Tonight we are exploring the concept of dreams and how they're an escape from reality, where our hopes, not to be redundant, but our dreams flourish. But let's step back and think about it as a venue where we are forced to watch our darkest and deepest fears play out. I'm talking about nightmares. And to get started, could any of you share your most vivid nightmare?
Before we do that, I'd like to say, if you have if you have nightmares a lot, you can hire people. For instance, I have a helper named Drew Esterbrook, and what he does is whenever I have nightmares, he's in the room throughout the night, and whenever I have nightmares, he soothes me when I wake up in a sweat, and he wipes the sweat off me. It's a little expensive, but it's extremely worth it if you have nightmares most nights. But,
Speaking of sweat,
Very
he
sweaty.
wipes the sweat off you?
Yes,
Microfiber towel?
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of sweat, I've noticed that my most intense nightmares, the ones that have stuck with me throughout the years, occurred because I was simply too warm. I think it's sort of a defense mechanism to wake me up. So if I ever get too warm, I'm just forced to have an awful nightmare. And I come back to the real world. Yes, Keith?
Do you think that's why fever dreams are so eventful? Is it an immune response, or is it simply your body wants to wake up, but you're so exhausted that you really need to sleep, and as a result, you have an uncomfortable, nauseous time?
Yeah, that's a very plausible theory. But I'd like to present you this idea. I believe that the dream ghouls, they get you when you're weak. They can sense that you are sick and not at your strongest. They don't like. You may notice that dream ghouls don't prey on muscular people. And so they wait when your immune system is down in the depths, then they get you, Keith. They get you.
So they wait until they don't have to try very hard.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, ghouls are a real problem all around, and I just want to hope you'll forgive me, Roy, but I want to pitch my service, my school again. If you want to join the resistance against the ghouls, just go to www.ghoulschool.org/theresistance.
Thank you, Connor. Keep fighting the good fight. Let's, before we get more into nightmares, let's go to the mystery from history with Evan Lane. Evan, take it away.
Is he here?
He is stuck in the prison, remember?
Oh, right, yeah. Rob,
And
Gonna be about another week before he gets out.
Robbie's never
Sleep
really been.
paralysis.
Robbie's never really been one to double check his spells, and then Evan was just kind of caught in the crossfire.
Well, I don't want to fill the role of Evan, but I do have a dream story from history, from ancient China, actually, if you guys wouldn't mind hearing it
Take
real
it
quick.
away. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
this is the Lakota.
all right.
All
our
right, so
resident Dream Sherpa.
this is translated from ancient Japanese from, I believe, 300 BC. Once upon a time, I, Chuang Cho, dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering hither and thither, to all intents and purposes a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was Chow. Soon I awaked, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man. Between a man and a butterfly there is necessarily a distinction. The transition is called the transformation of material things. So yeah.
Yeah,
Very thought-provoking.
when a butterfly loses its wings, is it just a caterpillar again?
That's a good question.
Case in point, what I just said.
Yeah, it's really quite beautiful.
You know, going off of that, what exactly makes a nightmare a nightmare? Are you scared? Are you just are you just distressed? Like, what exactly makes a nightmare a nightmare?
Well, that's a good point, because sometimes, a dream can be very good, but waking up from it is, it's a bad thing. So does that make it a nightmare? Because, once you're in the real world, you're actually kind of distressed because you've lost all that stuff. Like if you dream about having a lot of money, and you wake up and you don't actually have that money. Is that a good dream or a bad dream?
So is waking life at that point the nightmare?
Oh, it's a good nightmare.
Can I talk about a nightmare I have a lot?
Yeah, I suppose.
Thank you, Roy. I have nightmares about a giant snake that coils around me and crushes me to death every night, and it's not every night, but most nights. And I'm not afraid of snakes, but I always have that nightmare. I think it might be an interdimensional snake killing off different versions of me, and it's just like the consciousness of my dying bodies is trying to warn me about the snake. Do you have any thoughts on that?
How long do you think before it finds you in this reality?
Not long enough.
I'd like to just chime in here, me, Roy Michaels. Do you think that your fear of snakes,
I do not have a fear of snakes.
do you think your dream fear of snakes is influenced by society's viewpoint towards snakes? This is very prevalent in the Indiana Jones movies. Society's snakes are just these slithery villains that you don't want in your lap, in your hair.
I don't think so. I used to have a snake, and I really liked it.
What was his name?
Snaky, actually.
Snaky? Okay.
I was very young. I had to get rid of him because he had a rare disease. Every time he shed his skin, it would not come off. His eye would get stuck, and we had to give him to a pet doctor that lived down the road. His name's Dr. Dill. Didn't like him very much.
A pet doctor.
Pet doctor. Can't think of the name. Veterinarian. There we go. Nailed it.
Yes, Connor.
Could the dream represent the grief of losing Snakey, like suffocating you because you miss him just that much?
That's very possible. I miss him almost every day.
I'm so sorry. I'm not in the same room as Joseph, but could you guys kind of just like scooch up to him and kind of put your arms on him, give his shoulders a rub? Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I'm sorry if you're lost.
I love you,
It's
man.
okay. Snakey was a good snake. Roy?
I think Keith wants it.
Yeah, how long did you own Snakey?
Ooh. I would say
Leave the man alone. He's definitely.
Yeah, he's grieving.
you're really killing me here, Keith. It wasn't too long because he was not very big, and I know that I can't remember the species, but they did get big. But it was a very rare disease, and it was a good opportunity for Dr. Dill to study him.
I've heard that diseased animals are more likely to form a dream bond. So that's entirely possible that what help you could offer Snakey really elevated his thought of you. So now, even in the future, he's sticking with you.
Well, that's very comforting. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, so maybe he's just giving you a hug and he's not actually suffocating you.
Yeah.
You know?
You just have to embrace it.
So that's a pretty nice thought, but I kind of want to touch upon if we're talking about nightmares, we have to talk about the phenomena of sleep paralysis, old hag syndrome. Are you familiar with sleep paralysis?
Yeah, I am actually. I have it a few times a month, usually on average. It's a pretty intense feeling.
Yeah. Have you ever had a sleep paralysis hallucination?
Oh yeah, my first one was when I was 8 years old. I was sleeping on my dad's couch, and I had an out-of-body experience, and I flew up above my body into the corner of the room, and just saw myself sleeping there on the couch, and I couldn't move or anything, and I thought I died actually, just because I was 8 years old. I was like, oh, I guess I'm dead now. This is what this is like.
Well, I mean, that's just dreams. Like we said earlier, acclimating you to real life because that you are mortal. You will die, and it's good that you thought about that at 8 years old.
Yeah, still think about it every day.
Yes, Connor?
I actually have sleep paralysis a few times a month too, and I had a dream recently. I couldn't move and I was on my bed,
Yeah.
and I was trying to flip myself off the bed to wake myself up, and I flipped off the bed, and an invisible hand, grabbed me and just pulled me across my floor into a dark abyss in the corner of my room, and then I just kind of like jerked awake.
Yeah.
It was really frightening.
Yeah, when I have sleep paralysis, I often try to use head movements to kind of wiggle myself out. Or I try to scream, someone can help me.
Right.
Head movements are dangerous because you get injury your neck. Just fair warning about
But, I
that.
always sleep with a Sleepy Time neck brace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on my Amazon reviews if you kind of want to check it out.
Absolutely.
Stuffed animals help too.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not sure what kind of sleep paralysis it is, but whenever I sleep on my left side, I get it, and I always hallucinate about a witch or a warlock, something of that sort,
Well,
Yeah.
that's
for
a
like
very
making
common
me
thread.
paralyzed. I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry to interrupt. That's a very common thread in sleep paralysis instances. That's actually why it's often called old hag syndrome.
yeah, usually like a witch type woman will be like at the foot of the bed, or strangling you or something like that.
Or a shadow person.
Yeah, shadow people. There's sometimes demons that will sit on your chest. That's where like the term incubus and succubus come from. Like sitting on your chest, kind of suffocating you in that moment.
Yeah, it's John.
I think I've had not full body paralysis, but partial paralysis, where I've had a dream where a rock has like crushed my arm,
Yeah.
and then I wake up and I can't feel my arm, and I think it might be that like in my dream the rock is just symbolizing I'm just sleeping on my arm.
It could be actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Completely
pretty
unrelated from
common.
that, but
Yeah, I had a dream once that it was similar to that, and I woke up and I couldn't find my arm, and I freaked out, and it was actually like in between my wall and my bed. Like I thought I lost it. It was really scary.
I've done that with my pillow. It's pretty
Really?
similar, right?
Is your
Lakota, back to your sleep paralysis. Do you think that plays a role in your Sherpa abilities?
Sometimes it negatively impacts it. It's a little bit hard when I have to deal with that, while at the same time trying to guide people through their tormented times.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
if dreams can restrict your body via sleep paralysis, does that mean that they can also make your body more free?
Yeah, I say that's why we have things like sleepwalking. It's kind of the physical aspect of it. When you have sleep paralysis, it's basically your body is still asleep, but your mind's awake. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have sleepwalking, where your mind is asleep, but your body's awake.
That's true. I didn't even think about sleepwalking.
I've actually seen studies that use sleepwalking to acclimate people to their fears. So they can't induce the sleepwalking, but someone prone to sleepwalking and also terrified of spiders could actually rid themselves of their arachnophobia by interacting with arachnids while sleepwalking.
That's interesting. So in their waking life, they overcome their fear because they did it in sleepwalking.
Yeah,
Dream therapy, if you will.
exactly. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Well, sometimes one of the best things of dream therapy is trying to keep a dream journal, and just using that to reflect, and that really can help you through a lot of the dreams you've had in your past.
Yeah, well, I'm actually glad you mentioned that. I did bring a dream journal with me tonight. I do have an entry I'd like to share with you,
Okay.
especially while we're on topics of nightmares. It's a little hard for me to get through, so if I stop at any point, will you guys be here to support me?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course.
We're all here.
November 30th, 2014. Dream journal. I'm walking through a forest comprised of 100 acres. The sun is shining brightly, and I feel warm. I follow a squirrel on a trail between the rows of trees, and then the path opens to a clearing. At the center is Winnie the Pooh, sitting on a stump, holding his pot of honey. He's smiling. A gust of wind rolls through the valley. I begin to feel cold. I watch as Winnie, still smiling, begins to eat his jar of honey. I smile too, as he depletes the jar of its contents. Clouds begin gathering in the sky above. Winnie places the jar of honey between his feet at the base of the stump. He scoots to the edge and defecates into the honey pot. The sun is now completely obscured by the clouds. It's darker now. Winnie, still smiling, raises his pot of honey, and he begins to, once again, deplete it of its contents. The wind begins blowing violently. I can barely hear anything as it thrashes the trees. Pooh lowers the jar to the bottom of the stump and repeats the ghastly process over and over and over and over. Without stopping, he fixes his gaze upon me. But he is not looking at me. It's as if his black, beady eyes are gazing through me at an object 1,000 miles beyond where I stand. I'm overcome by an undescribable and dark dread. I feel every vein in my body clench at once. My stomach feels as if its fluid is being stirred with a wooden stick. I then think of the myth of Sisyphus, in which Sisyphus is condemned by the gods to roll a boulder up a mountain, only to have it roll back down to the base for eternity. I wake up and I begin my daily routine. I prepare a cup of tea. I leave the honey in the pantry and opt for agave nectar. Would any of you like to interpret that dream with the dream journal?
Yeah, I can take it. I can, look through it. It occurs to me now that I don't actually know where to look for this. Like, do you think it's in W for Winnie? P?
100 Acre Wood.
Ooh, are there digits?
Honey,
Oh.
maybe?
Honey. I'll check honey.
Sisyphus.
I think it might be Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
It really could be anything. It's a really powerful dream. It's almost like you shouldn't have said it with good
Oh.
conscience.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about this.
What?
That's all I can say.
What do you mean?
I cannot tell you any further on air. This is absolutely ghastly.
Well, thankfully we've come to the end of the program anyway, so we can review this together. Don't throw stuff. This isn't your house. All right.
I don't want to touch it.
No, well, I understand. I'd like to thank my guests tonight, Keith.
Hello.
Say bye.
Goodbye.
Reverse hello.
Oh yes, the other one.
Connor,
Goodbye.
Joseph,
Good night.
Lakota,
Goodbye.
John.
Thanks for having me.
We miss you, Robbie and Evan. But it is now the end of the mystery hour, and we are concluding our voyage in the dreams. I would like to thank the wonderful people at WMEB for letting us do this show every Friday at midnight, and for helping our show and many shows on the station grow. I'd also like to thank you, the listener, for tuning in. I hope after listening to this broadcast of dreams that you'll have enough information to do it yourself while you sleep tonight. Again, I am Roy Michaels. You've listened to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM, WMEB, Orono, Maine. And remember what Edgar Allan Poe once said.
It is all we seem or seem. It is all we see or seem, but a dream within a dream.
Sweet dreams.